All right, this show is taking a turn for the.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Monster Bass Live. We got a great show for you today. We are joined by none other than Brandon Palaniuk. So we're going to talk a little bit about X Zone. We'll talk about maybe the season that he's had and what lies ahead. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the baits that are in the box. Yeah, this is the new box, and yes, I know some of you haven't gotten it yet. I appreciate you being patient. I don't print these boxes, and I certainly don't stack them. And if I did, I'd probably wait until the ink had dried so that one didn't stick to the other, because you wouldn't have liked the box that it came in if I had sent it out. So we started shipping boxes, and they're on their way to you guys, and we're getting them out as fast as we can. I want to say thank you to Liquid Death for keeping me hydrated during the show. If you don't know what it is, it's water in a can. I'm going to give you 700 million reasons why you should drink this stuff. First of all, you're saving the planet one plastic bottle at a time. And secondly, it's pretty dope. I mean, it's Halloween, and it's got a great design and whatnot. So we'll keep drinking water. All right, so the phone lines are going to be open today. This is probably your one and only chance to call in and ask our guest a question today, because unless you're on tour and it doesn't happen to be fishing on the final day, which doesn't happen, you're probably not spending much time with him and chatting, because he's usually right up there on the podium most of the time. So he knows a thing or two about fishing. So I'm hoping that you guys have some really good questions. So it's been an interesting week. We're progressing towards the holiday season, and so we're priming the pumps and getting everything ready for Black Friday, making sure we've got great deals for you guys. This shirt back in stock, so we got inventory, even in the big boy sizes, because I know you guys have been giving me a lot of heat that we don't have. We have Rick sizes, but not big boy sizes. Well, we've got big boy sizes in, so it's going to be good. But yeah, we're stocking the store, and I got some really exciting plans for you around outlet bait and tackle. As you guys know, we acquired that company about a year ago out of Minnesota, and we had the site down after we sold out of all their inventory. We want to put some new things in place, and we're going to come back with an unprecedented 20% cash back. When that store launches, you're going to be able to sign up, get yourself a free membership. The whole first year is free. And you're going to get 20% cash back. I'm going to repeat that. 20% cash back on every purchase you make at our store. And I challenge you to go out and find me another retailer that's going to do the same. I don't think you can find one. It's only from your friends at Monster Bass. All right, so it's been a good week. It was my birthday yesterday. And went out with my friends. We had some dinner, and I was home surprisingly early. Surprisingly early, Jared. I was home pretty early, and 10:30. It's pretty good. Back in the day, it might have been 10:30 the next morning, but it's new me, new year. Tonight, I'm going out for some Italian. I'm really excited. And it's going to be good. All right. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the video. I uploaded a short on the YouTube channel. One of today's golden ticket prizes. I took a Daiwa TPU waterproof backpack, and I stuffed it. You can watch the short. It takes 60 seconds. I stuffed maybe 30 bags of soft plastics, 30, 40 hard baits, stuffed them in there. That's going to be one of the prizes this week. And I think it's a pretty good prize. But don't worry, we're going to do it not once, not 4 times. We're going to do it 6 times today. We're going to hook you guys up with golden tickets. So keep those golden tickets handy. Whether they're the old ones or the new ones, don't worry about a thing. They're all good. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Let's quickly scan over the the attendee list. We got T-Rex. Oh, how do we show T-Rex's shoes? T-Rex, can you send me a picture? Slack it, or actually, here, I got it on my phone. Here, Jared, search. Never mind. I'll get it for you. Let's see who we got. We got Caro, Big Rich, T-Rex. Everybody's favorite, Bobby Brown. Who else? Oh, Mr. Gambit. God, there's some good people. Really good people. Westfall, of course, RD3, Brian Rand. God, this is like an all-star cast. I mean, I kind of the burly, aggressively average hype man. Better not be with Crocs. I don't wear Crocs, bro. Okay, let's. Here's what we're gonna do. Again, your questions. Every question gets entered. We're gonna draw one for the Daiwa backpack at the end before the show is over. I'll keep track right here. I got a pen and little sticky notes. Every question you guys ask, and I'm gonna apologize in advance. Normally we like to talk a little bit, but today I want to make sure we give everybody an opportunity that has a question for Brandon. Whether it's about the baits in the box or what his favorite snack is, I don't know. I mean, as long as you're hitting the like button and asking good questions, we'll keep this thing rolling. So let's not waste any time. Let's give a big warm welcome to our guest today, Brandon Palaniuk. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going good.
Right
How are
on.
you doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Thanks for coming back and being on the show a second time. I appreciate it. So
Yeah. Hey, I'm pumped to be here. I'm gonna have to get you guys to send a case of Liquid Death next time so I can be all hydrated,
yeah,
hyped up like you are.
there you go. I mean, it's water. Half the time I'm on, my mom will watch. She'll watch something. She'll see the live stream on YouTube. She's like, you really shouldn't be drinking while you're doing the show. And I'm like, Mom, it's water. She's like, it is?
The first time I saw Kyle drinking that, he's the first person I saw it. It was earlier this year. And I'm like, are you seriously drinking a beer while you're filming right now?
Yeah.
And then he had to explain to me what it actually was. But
yeah, I've gotten some pretty interesting looks from my neighbors as I'm walking the dog at like 7:30 in the morning, and I'm walking down the street, and they're looking at me like, "Wow, Rick is off the deep end drinking beers at 7:30 in the morning." So,
yeah.
So you had quite a season, huh?
Well, it did. It was it was one of those dream seasons that you always hope for, you always wish for, but that you really can't plan for. You end up starting out with a couple good events, and then the ball gets rolling. You get a little bit of momentum under your feet, and you're able to just continue with that, and you begin to make better and better decisions, and then things just they have to work out at the end, and because it's not just the decisions you make, there's also 90 plus other guys trying to make the best decision they can on the water, and you just have to make it a little bit better over the course of 9 events.
How much does like the first 3, let's just say the first 3 events of the year, right? Because you talk about momentum, and momentum and confidence, and I know for me, like, I don't care what it is. I could be playing ping pong against my buddy, and the first 5 points is like make or break. How much does like the first few events of the season really go into like playing the role of a momentum killer?
For me, it was huge, because normally we start in Florida nearly every year, and historically, by the numbers, I end up digging myself a hole, and then I have to climb out of that hole throughout the rest of the season. And then I always look back at the end of the year and look at what the point gaps were, because I don't look throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'll look and I'll finish 3rd in the points and look back at my Florida events and be like, man, if I could have just had a couple half decent tournaments, I could have made a run at AOY. So with that point being said, this year I started off with like a 26th and a 20th. And instantly I was like, holy cow, I'm not leading AOY, but I don't have to dig myself out of a hole. This is great. And so for me, even though like I wasn't leading the points and I didn't win an event, those were personal wins for me coming out of Florida with two really high finishes. And then that just was able to carry on throughout the rest of the season. It kind of it got that confidence rolling early that you're able to carry on for quite a while.
When you're in an event and you're down to the end and you're like in whatever third, how much does that affect your strategy? Like, do you then like, how much does that affect what you're going to end up throwing?
Well, usually by that time, day 4, you've got a pretty good idea of what's happening on the body of water. Because, I mean, over a 4-day event, very rarely do the fish just keep doing the same thing all 4 days. Usually there's adjustments and little small, minute details that are the reason that you got into the top 10. And then if I have a shot to win, I'm one of those guys that I taste blood and I go for it. I'm not afraid to drop all the way to 10th if I feel like I can gamble and make a decision and have a shot to win. And sometimes it pays off and sometimes it comes back to bite me. But I feel like once you get in that position, it's so hard to get there that you want to capitalize on those opportunities.
Are you the best angler on the planet?
For 2022.
Good answer. I like that.
The trophy says so.
The trophy does say so. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. How hard is it? How hard is it to repeat at something like this?
Oh, it's ridiculously hard. I mean, to do it back to back is like incredibly tough. Just to do it twice in a career is difficult. So I think there's been 26 total winners over the course of the 50 plus years of BASS. And there's only been 12 guys that have won 2 or more. And then when you go to 3, I think there's only been 5 guys that have won 3 or more. Wow. So like every win that you get in AOI, that list gets really short. When you start looking at the names on that list, they are the legends of this sport that, kind of paved the way for all of us.
Good. We've got we got a couple questions here. Yes, let's smash the like button. So this is from Big Rich. He wants to know, how do you get in the mindset to fish and not stress out, like when you're in the middle of a tournament and things aren't going the way that you want them to?
I think part of it comes from expectations, but also perspective. So I go into an event with a super open mind, and I'm just constantly adapting and changing with the conditions, with the fish, and not trying to force something. Usually when I feel myself getting stressed is because I'm trying to force something that's not actually working. And then you're not catching fish, which then makes it even more stressful. And so when I get in a tournament situation, I really try to like not force those things. And it's so much easier said than done. But the more you do that, the more you go into it with that mindset, the more it starts to become natural. And I may fish down a 200-yard stretch of bank, and I may pick up 12 different rods down that stretch of bank because I'll see a lay down and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna flip an adrenaline craw in here, and I may flip around that, and then I pick up and I start going down the bank. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna crank a DT6, and then I'm like, oh, there's a really cool dock right here. I'm gonna throw the glide by this, and so I'm always changing and adapting until I start to get a pattern or see a pattern that day of something that's happening, and then I'll start to run with that.
What are there lakes on tour that are just they're just easier than the others?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is. There's lakes that the fish they're just less pressured. There's more fish, and then there's certain lakes that just suit certain anglers' styles. I mean, historically, all of the events up north, smallmouth fisheries, tend to be on my radar when I see those
Mm-hmm.
come out on the schedule. But really, anywhere that, for me, what I've realized is any lake that has like really good contour lines where I can look at a map and say, okay, this is where these fish are going to spawn and this is where they're going to go. Those are typically the places that I do well in. You get to places like Okeechobee, or even like St. Clair. It's a smallmouth event, but Lake St. Clair is like a big giant bowl. It's like the Okeechobee of the North. And when you just kind of have these massive, expansive flats of nothing and those fish just kind of roam,
Mm-hmm.
that seems to be the places that I struggle because I can't. It's much harder to go find your own fish and do your own thing, right? You get in those bodies of water, and if you look at them, oftentimes there's these big giant groups of fish, and then there's also big giant groups of anglers, and then there's a ton of dead water. And so I can't say, okay, I'm going to run these little secondary inside points that are a third of the way back in the creek, and I'm going to run these all the way down the lake. You have to get in that area and just mill around with the other boats, and I tend to struggle with that.
Mm. What the chatter wants to know, what tips do you have for him? What are the do's and don'ts? He's just starting out in tournaments.
And do's and don'ts.
Besides lead weights.
I mean, I would say like the biggest thing not to do. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
I think that's been made pretty obvious not to do that. Unless you want some felonies and stuff.
Yeah. And now that it made it all the way to Sports Center, right? Like when I saw it on Sports Center last week, I was like, wow.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I would say the other things you don't want to do is like get caught up in dock talk, and caught up in past experiences. So you want to use history and use past tournament knowledge and things like that to your advantage, but you have to be really cautious of going into an event and saying, oh, I smashed him on this place last year, right? We'll say October 20th because that's what today is. Say, man, 2021, I smashed him on October 20th throwing whatever, a drop shot on this rock pile. Well, that was last year. And then, if you look at my house, last year there was 2 feet of snow in my yard, October 20th. Today, it was 70 degrees. So the October of this year of 2022 is not the same as October of 2021. The fish, they don't live based on a calendar or a 24-hour day like we do. They live based on whatever Mother Nature throws them. Sun goes up, sun goes down, and whatever the water conditions are, they're going to adapt their day-to-day life to fit that, right? What's going to give them the best chance of survival. And so you have to keep that in mind, and you may be able to look at it and say, okay, last year I caught him on that rock pile on a drop shot, and it was a lot colder. And so maybe those fish haven't transitioned that far out, and you can work your way back. So that's a good example of being able to use that past knowledge, but not getting locked into it where you say, this is what I'm going to go do. It's the only thing I'm going to do. And so that kind of goes into the do part of keep an open mind, be curious, try things. There's really not any black and white rules in bass fishing or in tournament fishing, right? And so you're always, and I say no black and white rules when it comes to like techniques and things like that. Obviously there's black and white rules in the tournament or organization part of it, but be curious in techniques and trying different things, because you never know when you're going to stumble upon something that is really unique and the best way to catch them.
It's good advice. Good advice. What do you say? You open to taking a couple phone calls?
For sure.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Go ahead, caller. Where are you from?
Hey, what's up? It's Ralph Boyd, Army Outdoors out here in Fort Knox.
How are you, sir?
Sweet.
Well, how are you?
Great.
What's up, Brandon? How are you?
I'm good, man. What's on your mind? What kind of questions you got?
I don't know if you remember me. I met you at the Classic, and I gave you one of my Army coins last year.
Yes, I just saw that today. Actually, it's sitting right next to my bed on my nightstand next to my bed.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. It was great meeting you and all the guys there. That was my first time ever going to a Classic, and now the next one's even closer, so it's going to be another awesome year that I should be able to go, hopefully.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you there. I know we had talked a bunch back and forth online before I got to meet you down there, so that was cool that you're able to come.
Yeah, it was definitely a welcome break. So it's closer now. Knoxville's only a few hours away, so I'll definitely be coming down there this year, barring any Army issues. But
yeah.
But I guess my question would be, I guess, kind of going back to the first question, like, what do you do on those days and you just, like, I don't want to say get tired of fishing, but you almost feel like kind of burnt out? Like, what motivates you to get up, even on the days where it's maybe not like a necessarily competition?
I mean, I always just try to, I guess, like being curious always, it helps me keep from feeling like I'm getting burnt out, because I've got a bad case of like what's around the corner is what I always call it. You know, like I'll get into a creek and I'm like, oh, what's over there? And then what's over there? And I'm so curious on the water that keeps me from feeling like I'm burnt out, because I'm not just doing the same thing. I'm not just looking at the same stuff. I'm always trying to figure out a different group of fish or a different way to catch those fish. And so I don't feel burnout, right? I think a lot of that burnout comes from when things start to feel monotonous and you're doing the same things over and over, and you may be getting the same results, and those aren't the results that you want. And so for me, it's always constantly changing those things up so that you don't feel that monotony of it.
Yeah, I definitely have to do that. I try and go to different lakes, but when gas shot up, that was a lot harder to do. But yeah, some days you get up in the morning, it's like, oh, it's a long drive, or it's an hour, it's 2 hours away, and just kind of curious. So
yeah, and just, I mean, don't force it. You know, if it's nasty and you're like, I don't really feel like going today, like, don't force it. Go when you really want to go and you're going to enjoy it. You know, and set your expectations. Like, don't think that you have to go out there and catch 25 pounds every time. Every single time you go out there, just look at it as like it's a learning lesson, right? And so fishing's like a mathematical equation, and the more situations you can put yourself in, the more, or the faster you're going to be able to solve that equation, right? And so the more situations you see, the more conditions you see, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, those 8 wasted a day. Like I told myself this summer, I wasn't going to waste a single day after 3 years of being in Alaska and not being able to bass fish. I feel like I'm trying to make up for lost time.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Awesome. Well, it's cool to hear about this point. I'm sure there's a whole lot of people waiting to call in, so I don't want to take any more time.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate everything you do for this country as well. So hopefully I get to see you at the Classic.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so barring any issues, I should be down there. So I'll keep in contact and let you know.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate your service.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
All right. See ya. All right. Let's take this one. How's it going?
Pretty good, Rick. How are you doing?
Doing well, sir. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing great. Hope you had a great birthday.
Thank you.
I sent you a video to your IG Messenger for the shoes. I did a little video for you.
Oh.
Brandon, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing good. I have a question for you. I've always fished one-day tournaments, and I'm fishing my first 2-day tournament. November 12th, I believe it is, 12th and 13th. So if you catch fish, good size fish in one spot on day one, do you go back to that spot on day two, or do you go to other places?
I mean, every situation is going to be different, but typically I'm going to at least check it. And that's one of those things where you have to look at it and say, okay, did I leave fish there? You know, because if you're just catching 3.5 pounders and 3.5 pounders, you don't want to just sit there and just burn it down on day one when those 3.5 pounders, you know, it may help you. You may be culling by ounces on day one, but you could be, you know, when you have 0 in the box on day two, that 3.5 pounder goes a long way. So, you know, if it's a place where you left fish fighting or you could still see them on your electronics, it's definitely a place that I'm going to go back and check, especially if the conditions are similar on day two. And then you can always adjust from there, right? But that at least gives you a starting place if you do have an area that you caught them well on day one.
All right. Do you have any other suggestions for me on a 2-day tournament?
The biggest thing is just, I always tell people on multi-day events, catch as much weight as you possibly can every day. But that doesn't mean that you just sit there and just catch them and catch them and catch them off of a place. If it seems like all those fish are 3.5 pounders, or, you know, whatever they may be, if they're all 2 pounders, you don't just sit there and keep beating on 2 pounders, because then you're just wasting time. You know, once you have your 10 pounds, if the rest of them are just 2 pounders in there, I'm going to go and I'm going to start burning water looking for ways to catch some bigger fish. And, you know, and then constantly trying to upgrade. And then you never know when that's going to give you a clue so that you can then work off of that clue, you know, on day two.
All right. Yeah, we already started pre-fishing, so because Millerton Lake's quite a big lake, so we're going to be over the next couple of weeks hitting it like 4 or 5 times, if not more, just depending on my work schedule. So, all right, I appreciate the information.
Yep, you're welcome. Good luck out there.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Rick, you guys have a good day.
All right.
Enjoy your Italian food later on.
Thank you. I'm going to show your shoes a little bit later too, buddy.
All right. Well, you know I'm not going anywhere. I'll stay here.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
You know I can't miss this show.
Yeah, thanks.
Always got great information.
Thanks for calling in, bro.
And I can't wait to hear Mr. Gambit.
Yeah. Listen, you're right up there. 45. You've called in 45 times.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to catch up with Brendan.
Yeah, well, we might have to. Brendan's mother might have to like put him in a timeout for someone to catch up to that guy. I think he's like 80 something times he's called to the show.
So. I know that guy.
Anyway, all right, man. Have a great night.
You too, buddy.
All right, bye. All right. Before we go to Chauncey, because I see Chauncey's up next, let's talk about this bait for a second.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
All right, so this is the new Hot Shot Minnow, 3.25 inches from X Zone. Let's talk about this bait now. Did you played a role in designing this thing?
Yeah, we went back and forth quite a bit. I definitely had my hands in on the design of that. And if you kind of roll it like to the belly a little bit, that's one of the cool things. There's a little hook slot in the very nose of that allows you to kind of hide your drop shot hook. I mean, that bait was specifically designed for drop shotting and nose hooking specifically, so that you get all of the action out of that bait. Mm-hmm. And what it does is it kind of it creates this little kind of side to side quiver, and then it has this really natural flow of the tail. You can see where that tail folds, and then it's got that little bit more bulbous tail on there. And of course, like all the other X-Zone plastics, it's going to float, so you get this really natural horizontal presentation out of it when it's in the water. And I caught so many fish on that this year. That was my go-to. Anytime we went up north, I've been catching them on it out here in Idaho this fall, all over at home. And the cool thing is that we designed it specifically for drop shotting, but it makes an incredible bait for a Damiki rig. And I didn't really plan on that when we were designing it. I wasn't thinking about that. But then we got to like Hartwell for the Classic this year, and some of those colder water early events where a Damiki rig came into play. And I was like, oh, I got a bait that's the perfect size for that, perfect profile and shape. And I stuck it on there. I was like, holy cow, this bait's phenomenal. Because one of the most important things with that is keeping that horizontal presentation.
Right.
And so that plastic helps keep that floated up. And it does an amazing job. And when you burn it, that tail actually swims. So what I figured out in a couple places is I'd have these fish fall in it, and I would just burn it real quick, and it would look like this bait fish was swimming away because that tail would start kicking real tight, and you'd kill it, and then the fish would just crush it. So it's a pretty unique little drop shot bait for sure.
What's your go-to drop shot setup?
I throw a 610. It's a Alpha Angler DSR. It's a medium light action rod. And a Daiwa Exist 3000 just balances out really, really well. And then I go 15-pound Seagar Smackdown braid to anywhere from a 6 to a 10-pound Seagar Gold Label leader. Sometimes I'll even go up to 12, just based on the cover that I'm fishing around. So the heavier the cover, the heavier my leader line will be, but I keep my braid the exact same size.
All right. Good stuff. So, besides the fact that the family that runs X-Zone are really great people, and, at Monster Bass, we're really fortunate. Like, we've got some really good, I've always said that we can put any brand we want in the box, but I really like to be surrounded by good people. And, whether it's been like the guys at X-Zone or the guys at Z-Man or even Lunker Hunt, like I like being around good people, and they're good people. And Jim and his son are, they're good guys. Besides the fact that they're good people to work with, like what makes the design process or the plastic or like what do they do different that makes these baits different than everybody else's?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned working with Jim, and this is really one of the biggest reasons that I jumped on board with him a few years ago, was that they don't cut corners. There's a big difference in when you're making business decisions on doing it the right way and for playing it the long game versus just trying to make a profit. And what I've learned with Jim is that he makes those decisions based on the long game. And it doesn't seem like much when you're just talking about it, but the result is these incredible products and an incredible company that you get to work with. And I think that's the biggest thing that separates, right, is that they're not cutting corners. And that goes down to every decision that's made. There's no cheap fillers in the plastic. And so then you get this more lifelike kind of subsonic motion in those baits that you wouldn't get in other plastics that are they kind of have this deadened action because of those cheap fillers. And then you get these more vibrant, realistic colors with that. And so there's, by making those small decisions over and over and over again, the bigger picture is more grand. And so that's been it's been super refreshing working with them on that kind of stuff. The design process is super smooth. Both Jim's sons work in the company now, and so I get to work with them, and uh, they're always full of fresh ideas, and we just continue to refine that process to make it quicker and easier. And now we've got 3D models we can look at and everything. It's pretty cool, fun process.
What is there anything new for 2023 that you can share with us today without getting you in trouble?
Nothing I can share, but I would say at any given time we're working on like 4 to 5 new baits. Sometimes that's just a line extension. It could be a different size of a bait that we already have. There's some new baits that are in the works. So it's a constant change, right? I mean, we're already looking out to like 2024 and what we can be doing there. So it's pretty neat to work on that side of it and be able to kind of be on the inside, but I can't give away too many details.
Well, I'm sure Jim would appreciate that you didn't do that. So I'm going to try and call him and see if we can get him to spill some beans for us.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Hi, you've reached the cell phone of Jim Van Ryan.
You're trying to go.
Yeah.
Right now, but you can leave a message or you can send me a text. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
After leaving a message, you can hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey, Jim, it's Rick, and I'm live with Brandon, and, we just thought we'd give you a call and see if you want to come on and, give us a world exclusive on what's coming for 2023. Brandon was, tight-lipped, wouldn't really spill the beans, so I figured I'd go right to the source, but I'm going to guess you're having dinner, hopefully a cold one, and relaxing and enjoying the evening. I'll talk with you soon. Thanks. All right, so that didn't work. Why don't we go to the phone lines? Chauncey's been waiting. This guy's been waiting for 13 minutes. So what's going on, fella?
How's it going?
Good. How are you, man?
Hey, Rick. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Chauncey.
I called in. Hey, buddy. Last time I talked to you was back in, I believe, 2016 or 17, and I took a picture with you here in Texas. That's the last time I talked to you.
Yeah, he remembers that.
Yeah, I got a picture. I was actually looking for it on the computer when I called in. I couldn't find it, but anyways, I got a question for you. Well, actually, 3 questions.
You can only have 2.
Who picks the lakes for the season? Do you guys collaborate, or do you guys just wait for like the official announcement?
Yeah, we usually don't know the schedule until like 2 or 3 hours before it goes public. They'll ask our input. A lot of times they'll do a survey and have each angler like send in 5 of their favorite lakes and 5 of their like please don't ever go here again lakes. And and sometimes you may have a season where you've got lakes on both your lists, ones you really want to go to, ones you really don't want to go to. So there is a little bit of collaboration there, but they also have to work with Fox Sports and kind of the timing of that, and then balancing that with the local host and making sure that it fits into kind of their community schedule and things like that. So definitely a balancing act.
Nice. I never knew how that actually worked, so that's a good insight. The next question: what is your favorite fishing season to fish in?
Oh man, I think I love the springtime the best. Like pre-spawn, they're fat, they're healthy, they've kind of rested up all winter, and to me it makes it easier because what general direction they're headed. They're going shallow, so as long as you have some consistent warming trend, those bass are moving their way shallow. And so it's a lot easier to look and say, I know where they're going. I just got to figure out how far away from that final destination they are, right? And that final destination is their spawn. And if you know where those fish are going to spawn, you just work your way backwards. And so I love fishing in the spring. It usually means I get to, throw a bunch of heavy line and bait casters and throw a beat down on them, which I love to do.
Nice.
Chauncey, can I ask your third question for you?
Last question.
No. I want to, it's my show.
No. I told
Chauncey,
you got
listen.
a really good question for
you.
But
then it's
ahead.
going to have to be
Go
number
ahead.
4. First of all, thank you for your service. I believe your third question for Brandon was, Brandon, what are the 5 never go to lakes that are on your list?
Oh gosh.
I'd like to know that one.
I don't even know if I have 5. I mean, Okeechobee's one of those that I say it's on my list because you end up finding yourself like fishing in this big group of people. It's a phenomenal fishery. I love the style of fishing. I just hate fishing in big groups of people. Man, what other ones do we have? I can't even remember right now. It's hard to think of the ones I don't like after I have a really good season. If I have a bad season,
I would put Lake Louisville in Texas on your list, if I may.
Gosh, Louisville is brutal.
It may be the worst. It may be the worst fishery on the planet.
Conroe.
I think we fished a tournament in, what was it, Chauncey? A 3-pound bag one.
Yeah, it was super crazy. It was like, oh my gosh. And Rick was fishing with me, and it was crazy.
Conroe's another one that I don't like.
Yeah,
I don't like Lake Conroe in Texas.
With Conroe, I actually will be fishing that on the Big Bass Tour in February. I'll be fishing that one with Dat Van. He'll be fishing with me on that one.
Are you name dropping?
Nice.
Yep, I'm name dropping.
All right. What's your fourth question?
Okay, 4th question. I've seen that you got into the kayak scene, and I was wondering, what's the outlook for you in the future of kayak fishing?
I really don't know where it's going to go. I'd like to fish a few kayak tournaments, and I probably will if the schedule allows. For me, it just gives me a different approach on the water. And every time I go out there and I fish out of my kayak, I wonder why I don't do it more. Because it's just it gives you a different approach. And you really have to look at the body of water and try to break down the area that you're in as best as possible. You can't just, start your outboard and run 30 miles down the lake to go check another place. So you really have to make the most of it. And then the other thing I like is that it gives me access to a bunch of other fisheries that I can't fish in my bass boat, especially in the springtime. So I don't know where that'll go. I've got a collection of 3 Old Town kayaks right now. So I bet I may end up with more if they keep coming out with cool new designs. But it's definitely something that I enjoy. I was actually fishing out of it 2 days ago.
Nice. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because I recently just got in the kayak scene myself too. I got the Hobie PA 14, and I did a tournament, my first tournament actually, a couple of weeks ago, and it was a thrill, compared to being out of the bass boat. But yeah, I know, you definitely know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not that I like one more than the other. They're just different. They each have their pros and cons, and I'll keep messing around with it, and hopefully as time allows, I'll be able to do it more and more.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you answering those questions. I got one for you, Rick.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Any new lures coming anytime soon?
Yes.
What's in the works?
There's a flat-sided crankbait that I think I shared the 3D modeling with you guys on a previous show. I'm happy to show you that one. There's are we just talking baits, or are we talking product altogether?
Just anything on the horizon.
Yeah, there's a flat-sided crankbait. There's spinner bait, buzz bait. One of these days I'll get a frog right. I just can't. I mean, every time they build me a prototype, I hate it. I've been trying to make a frog for 3 years, and I probably just need to outsource and have someone else design it for me, because clearly I'm not good at it. They just take on. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I need to outsource it to somebody else. What else? All the rant.
Through this despise of the Carolina rig.
It does feel like your grandfather's technique. It's one of those outdated things that unless somebody like wins a tournament on it and tells everyone that they fished the Carolina rig, then every kid will be throwing a Carolina rig the next day.
Like I literally had not thrown a Carolina rig for probably 7 years.
Wow.
And I busted one out this year at Pickwick, and I actually weighed a couple fish in on it, on a Carolina rig.
Wow.
I wasn't proud of it, but it happened, and it did help me win AOI.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it helps cash checks, I mean, I don't think that we're gonna argue that. So
yeah.
All right, this guy's been waiting 16 minutes to talk to you. Hold on. Go ahead, caller. Where are you from?
Hey, Rick. It's Brian from Michigan.
How's it going?
Want to thank you for a great product, and congratulations, Brandon, on a great season. And
thank you.
I really only have one question. How do you strategize differently when you're fishing a tournament in respect of like being in the top 10 as opposed to being like near the middle of the pack?
Are you talking as the tournament goes on?
Yeah, as it progresses.
I would say my strategy probably doesn't change as much until the final day. So my approach is always to catch as much weight as I possibly can every day. I know that sounds super cliche, but like obviously, yeah, you want to catch as much weight, but if you purposefully do that, like really keep that in your mindset of I'm going to make all of my decisions to catch as much weight as I possibly can, then when you finish, you don't have any regrets, right? You've made all of those decisions to catch as much as possible. And sometimes that turns into a top 20, sometimes that turns into a top 10. And if I do make the final day and I know I can't fall past 10th, I'm going to get good points. I'm going to get a good check. And so I'll gamble a little bit more on that last day. I'm willing to push that a little bit more. Whereas day 1, 2, and 3, I may say, okay, I'm going to catch as much as I can, but I'm only willing to risk it so far, right? It's a calculated risk where I'm not going to just go fish a bunch of new water looking, to upgrade what I've got. I may stick it out, and I may say, okay, I've got probably as much as I can catch at this point, and this is going to be enough to advance me. And then I'll maybe go fish different water looking for clues for that final day. So it really just depends on kind of where you're at on that scale, right? If you know you've already got enough, so that strategy can change a little bit throughout the day. I may start out that third day and say, hey, I need to make it to day 4. And so I'm going to go catch what I think I can catch, what I've been catching the first 2 days. And then I may gamble a little bit, right? So you catch that weight where you say, well, it's going to hold me in the top 25. Now I need to gamble to try to make that top 10. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. So it's really about having a good gauge of what the target weight is to keep you consistent, and then what that weight is that gets you above and beyond.
Gotcha. Yep. That's the only question I had. Thanks.
Awesome. You're welcome. Hopefully that helps out.
Thanks for calling in, man.
Yep. Thanks.
All right. Bye. All right. If we don't, we were going to take a phone call from Greg because he's not excited at all to talk with you, but I decided that we're going to make him wait a little bit longer because he's very patient. I'm joking, Greg. All right, Brandon, you, who's the most fun guy on tour?
Probably Chad Pipkins.
I can see that.
Pipkins is like, he's arguably the most positive person I've ever been around in my entire life. Sometimes to the point where you're like, could you just be upset a little bit? We used to travel together in our fifth wheel, and my wife would be like, why are you so upset? Like, I'd finish 30th and Chad would finish 45th, and he'd be in a way better mood than I was. She'd be like, why are you so upset? Like, Chad's not upset. Like, why are you upset? You finished ahead of him. And so it was, I mean, a lot of the success that I've had in the last, 5, 6, 7 years is because of that guy. Just purely from a mental approach. So he's definitely a fun guy to be around, whether it's on the water, off the water. Every once in a while we'll, like, not on purpose, we just happen to be fishing the same areas, and it's always a blast on the water. And then off the water, obviously, we talk all the time. So he's probably one of my favorite people, one of the most fun people to be around.
Right on. Who, if you weren't a professional angler, what would you be doing?
Realistically, I'd probably be logging, cutting trees down. That's sort of running heavy equipment. But I would like to think that I would end up being like a backcountry adventure hunt guide. Whether that was Alaska or like Frank Church Wilderness, like somewhere where you had to get out and live in the wild is probably be my next choice.
Nice. Okay, and then the last question before we've made Greg wait, and I don't want to make Greg wait too long. He's excited to talk to you. Who wins in an arm wrestling match? Carl or G-Dog?
Probably Gerald. I think Gerald's got some old man strength on him. Gerald's in pretty good shape for his age. And he's been packing around probably 50-pound bags of feed for his deer lease and packing hanging tree stands. And I don't know. I don't think I'd want to arm wrestle G.
Yeah, me either. All right, let's move on to Greg. Actually, before we do it, all right, guys, grab your golden tickets. See how I did that, Greg? I made you wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Grab your golden tickets. Now, if you don't know what the golden tickets are, each one of your boxes comes with an individually numbered golden ticket. If I call it your number, email me at marketing@monsterbass.com, and I'll hook you up with something. And if you want to see what some of the things are, I put out a short today on the YouTube channel. I got 2 more that I made a couple days ago. I'm moving stuff out of the garage as quickly as it comes in. I figure that's the only way I'm going to get the car ever in there. So, all right. Why do I have to start with the lower one? Jared's yelling at me. 1 second. Why? It's my show. It looks better? Okay. You're just mad at me because I'm driving a Toyota Prius right now. My car, somebody decided to key the Range Rover, and I had to take it in, and now I'm driving a Prius. Clean, yeah, but listen, I get to drive in the what's the lane called? The carpool lane.
Carpool lane.
Yeah, I get to drive in the carpool lane. It saved me like 20 minutes today. I live 12 miles from my office, and it takes an hour. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right. With that, we'll go to the golden tickets. 12707, 13328, and 13949. There's 3 numbers, 3 prizes. If you got it, email me. All right. We've made Greg wait for 8 minutes. Should we make him wait for 9 or 10? No, let's just do it. All right. Go ahead, Greg. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Rick. Hey, Brandon.
Hey.
Hey, congratulations on the Angler of the Year, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Pretty awesome year.
Absolutely. Just got a couple questions. So, being from Hayden, Idaho, how did you get into the Bassmasters?
I qualified through the Bass Nation. Back then, it was the Bass Federation, but it's now called the Bass Nation. I started fishing that when I was 16. That was the minimum age that you could fish. Started fishing on the boater side. I think I fished. It took me 7 years before I won the national championship, and I think I had fished 4 national championships before I finally won. And then by winning that qualified me for the Bassmaster Elite Series and the Bassmaster Classic. And then I've just haven't had to work a normal job since.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, it's really a privilege to talk to you. I follow you a lot on tour, and yeah, man, congratulations on Angler of the Year. It was awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
What else you got,
they
Greg?
got you ranked. I got one more question.
Okay.
They have you ranked number 8th in the world. Do you think you'll ever get to number 1?
I think I've actually been number 1. That list changes all the time. And I don't know how they weight that list or where it comes from. I mean, to me, that's just an ever-changing leaderboard. I don't judge my success based on whether or not I'm ranked number 1 on that list.
Right.
There's a lot more important life rankings, but that
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
He's number 1 on our list, Greg.
there it is.
Oh, absolutely. He's number 1 on mine too, for sure. One more question. So when you were fishing that elite tournament and your wife was getting ready to go into labor at any minute, how anxious were you on a scale of 1 to 10?
9.87, I guess. That was
watching you held your composure great.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that I had a job to do, and I think the biggest thing is that my wife was on board with it. Actually, I think she wanted me to fish more than I wanted to fish, and having that support system allowed me to focus on the fishing, right? And if I don't have that, I don't win AOY this year. And so who knows? Maybe she knew that I needed to do that so I could win AOY and win $100,000 check. I don't know. Maybe that was subconsciously part of it. No, I'm just kidding. It was definitely difficult. If you saw the series video, like for whatever reason that week, I was getting a telemarketer call like every day at 10:30, between 10:30 and 11 o'clock. And the first day that my phone started ringing at about 10:30 a.m., I thought, no way, like this is really happening. I'm gonna have to leave the tournament. But fortunately, we were able to make it all 4 days, and finish up 7th in that event, and then and then get home and have a little baby.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's really a privilege to get to talk to you, and thanks, Monster Bass and Rick, for giving me the chance to talk to you. Really appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, and
Yeah,
congrats on
hopping
your
on.
PB that you caught.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.
What was it?
I didn't have scales with me. I'd say she was close to 6.
Okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go buy a scale. and I want you to...
I have a scale.
All right.
We had, me and my fishing partner, we had fished our like second to last tournament of the year on Tappan Lake here in Ohio, and I left it in his boat, so I didn't have a scale on me.
All right. Well, the next time, scale and video, so we can showcase that. Deal?
And fresh batteries.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fresh batteries. All right, man. Well, listen, I'm glad you got a chance to call in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
All right.
Nice talking to you, Brandon. Good luck next year, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. We got 2 more calls. Okay. Not sure what we're going to get with this one.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Just take a deep breath. Go ahead, caller.
Hello there, Rick and Brandon. It is Mr. Gambit 2000 calling you near the Kia Forum and the SoFi Stadium here in Southern California. Just going to let you know, My Chemical Romance was at the Forum for 5 straight nights, sold out. That was amazing to me to see so many young people there celebrating in the city every single freaking night, coming from long distances away. And guys, we're going to definitely get a little something. We're going to keep it on the rails today. Again, Rick, we're not going to take it too far off the rails, my man. But I got to ask you, that was a code that was sent to me today for the beginning boxes. For the guys who haven't tried Monster Bass, there's a code out there. And Rick, you know, people on the Monster Bass list, they got to definitely be on the Rick VIP list. He sends out the damn code via text or email at least once or twice a week. You'll get something and you'll get a discount or you'll get something free. So definitely get on that VIP list. Rick will give you something that says, okay, guys, this is what we're giving away. And guys, if you weren't on Rick's VIP list the other day from the Gram, he actually came from the Monster Bass Gram site and said, if you get 3 months access, he's going to give you a 13 fishing reel. So if you haven't got on that list, man, you got lost out. So definitely get on that list and try to save yourself some money or get something for free. Now, this is what I know today happened. Rick said, if he sent the text out, Rick, I'll tell you about it. They sent it to me. If you haven't tried the Monster Bass box, the beginning box says, hey, get a Monster Bass box. If you haven't tried Monster Bass yet, get one for $10. That's silver 10, SILVER 10. If you haven't tried Monster Bass, you get 5 baits and for $10. Rick says he's going to give you a starter box. Now, you may not know it. His marketing team sent this out. Rick is probably going to check it right now and find out if they did that. But they sent it to me, and I said, well, I'll announce it. Hell, maybe the people who haven't got a Monster Bass box, come on in this site and give yourself a Monster Bass box and see what Rick is doing. The man is crazy sometimes. Sometimes he forgets what he's giving away. So definitely get on the list just in case he gives out something he forgets to give out.
How do you do that? How do you? All right, where do I start?
He didn't take a breath that entire time.
Not one time. Okay, first of all, Mr. Gambit, did I hear you correctly in saying that My Chemical Romance played 5 straight nights at the Forum?
That's what I said. 5 straight nights at the Forum, sold out. That's what's surprising to me. When you got old bands like that come in and the kids said they loved it, they sold out 5 straight nights at the Forum. I was like, oh my goodness, people really wanted to see that.
I feel so bad for the kids today. They have to listen to such garbage. I'm sorry. Listen, My Chemical Romance one night at the Forum, 5 is an embarrassment. No wonder the world's falling apart. 5 nights for that emo band. Come on.
I know, man. Some of those bands.
All right. Do you have a question?
I know, that's what I mean.
Do you have a question
You
for
don't
the
understand
greatest?
the world.
Do you have a question for the greatest angler on the planet? Or at least this year because the trophy
course,
said so.
You know, here we go, Brandon.
Okay.
What Rick doesn't know, and his birthday was just yesterday, officially, if you don't know here, guys, this is what we got in the room tonight. We rarely get these kind of guys on, but Brandon is one of those kind of guys. He's a made man. You know what a made man is? That means when you've done your job in the world, done your necessary hits in the world, and he has winning checks of $100,000, winning Angler of the Year, He's a made man. Officially, he's a made man. So, Rick, this is what you get to do. You get to kiss the ring of the made man because he's well connected in this world. He gets to say, Brandon, you're connected with hard baits. We know you got access to Rapala. And I've seen you throw those Rapala baits, man. I'm a Rapala fan. I got some big blacks in already. So come on in and say, hey, kiss his ring and say, can we get access to some of them Rapala baits? Can you put them in the Monster Bass box? So I'm actually asking a question for the whole room and the Monster Bass guys who buy from the Monster Bass site. Can we get access to those Monster Bass, access to the Rapala baits? So can you go through the list, let Rick kiss the ring, and see can we get access to some of those Rapala baits?
Okay. All right.
All I could do is pass on the information.
Yeah.
That's all I could do.
Here's the deal, Mr. Gambit. So Rapala is a publicly traded company. They operate a little bit differently than some of the other companies that are out there. And you know, when you're a publicly traded company, I've been part of publicly traded companies before, the spreadsheet, you know, the P&L really makes a difference. And not every company can just apply baits to a marketing cost without it affecting their overall profit margins that they report. And so I can tell you this, unless there's a change in the way that they handle their financials, and there's nothing wrong with the way that they do it, it's just their thing, you're probably not going to see a lot of Rapala in the box.
I understand that. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I've been in the business world, but I've also been in the other side of the world. When you're a made man, sometimes you do what you got to do. You ask the man, what can we get? And you ask for it and say, can I get it like this? And can you deliver it to me? And that's what I mean by finding out doing the company. My man got a smile there. Brandon knows what I'm talking about. He can make some phone calls. Let that man make some phone calls. That's the main question I'm going to ask. Can he make a phone call for the Monster Bass family? Can we get some discounts on those baits? I know what we're talking about, my man.
All right. Thank you.
That's all I can do. All I can do is pass on the info.
All right, my man. That's what we're doing. All right, my man. It's good talking to you. Keep doing what you're doing, Brandon. I'm telling you, man, you are that bass fisherman that does what's necessary to win tournaments. You don't get pigeonholed to doing one thing, and that's what we talked about before on this show. When the actual, anglers come on, they get pigeonholed saying, I got to win this way. I got to win that way. Brandon says, I don't know if I got to throw a shoehorn or a shoe. Whatever way I got to win, I'm going to win. And that's what I appreciate about a champion like you, my man. Keep doing what you're doing. I am a fan. Take care, guys. Love what you're doing.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. He's like the ultimate hype man.
He's a grandpa. Like,
well,
I want
to hype man.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how he doesn't have a job at a radio station. Like, he comes on and he just goes without taking a breath. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it.
If you would have asked me what that guy did his entire life, I literally would have said a radio show.
Yeah. It's not what he does.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're going to take our last call of the day. He's always the last call of the day. It's always interesting. I think he does that so that he can be the last guy.
Yeah. Like gets the last word in.
Totally. All right, let's do it. Go ahead, Brendan.
Hey, what's going on, Rick and Brendan?
Hey, how's it going? Your mom didn't ground you yet, huh? There's 80 something calls, 80 plus.
Yeah, I think I'm on 78 or 77, somewhere around there.
According to this, you're on 78.
Yeah, congratulations. Yes, I got it right.
You.
Nice. So congratulations on AOI. That was really cool. I hope you have a great year in 2023. I'm pretty sure you're going to do some big things then as well. You're really on a fire streak right now. So really, really cool what you're doing. And I have two questions for you. So one is a little bit strange that I've never really thought of, or I'm not sure if many anglers have ever thought about this, but does the bottom of the boat that you use matter? Because the fish, your bottom of your boat is in the water, so the fish can see your boat. So do you think the color of your boat matters in the water?
Yes, to an extent. And really, there are some guys that take that super serious. I mean, I believe a black is going to be more natural, because when they look up, normally those things are black when they look up versus, a big white bottom of a boat or something like that. So when a bass is looking up, they're looking up to the sky, and so things are shaded and generally black when they're looking up. And that's why you see a lot of guys like Butch Brown and stuff, big swim bait chasing guys in clear water, that just paint their whole boat black, and just so that it looks as natural as possible when those fish are coming up next to the side of the boat.
Or just paint bait fish on the bottom of your boat.
Yeah, you just create a little bait fish scene on the bottom. That'd be next level.
That'd be funny.
That could be. That would be pretty interesting, man. And my second question is, I know you like to fish big baits. I'm a big baiter as well. I like to buy all the custom stuff and have fun with all that. And, cry whenever you buy some of them because they're so expensive, and then rejoice whenever you catch fish on them. But if you only have 3 big baits to use for the rest of your life, what 3 are you choosing? These could be custom baits or baits like your Storm Arashi Glide. Any baits that you want, long or big, what 3 are you choosing for the rest of your life?
I'm definitely gonna throw, like, the Storm Arashi Glide's gonna be in there. It's a mass-produced bait, but it's honestly one of the best fish catching glide baits that I have.
It's a good one.
And the nice thing is that at a $37 price point, you aren't afraid to throw it into places where fish live. And I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And the way that it swims, it allows you to be super versatile and do a lot of different things with it. So that's definitely going to be on the list.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good one. It's
pretty tough to beat an 8-inch HUD. I like an ROF 5, just because I can always add weight to it. But I've caught so many big ones in cold water. I've messed with the zeros some.
Oh yeah, it's a good
one. Just depending on certain situations, but if you're forcing me to only choose one, I'm going to choose the 5 because it's going to be the most versatile for me. And then I don't know, maybe I guess I could go top water and go like a lunker punker, but 8-inch wood version, not the plastic.
Yeah,
so
I love the wood ones. Those are amazing.
I don't know the lunker plunker.
It's like the OG
you don't know that
giant top water.
Who makes it?
Old wooden black dog.
Jeremy Anderson.
Yeah, that's a
cool.
It's pretty awesome. I don't know. Yeah, it'd probably be that, or
it is.
It'd be a toss up between that and like a hinkle shad.
You have one of the Hinkle shads?
I got 3 of them.
Okay, we're all talking. Man. We're all talking about it like it's something special. So what is it? Is it $350?
If you can find
it's more than that.
Shads,
is it really?
They're really hard. They're pretty hard to find now. I've had them for years and years.
I heard he's putting them back in production.
That'd be pretty sweet.
But like he's working on a big.
Yeah, I've got a whole wall of stuff. Rick put it this way: like the Hinkle shad, from a 9-inch gizzard perspective, a lot of the baits that are kind of in that shape and category have been influenced by that bait. Like that's the bait that influenced a lot of them, I would say. And I've got all kinds of stuff, right? I've got all the clashes and Hinkle shads, and I don't have a Hinkle trout. That's like one that I want.
Yeah.
I got like 10 mothers. I got a mother chaser.
Oh man.
Do
you like to collect this stuff too?
Oh yeah. It's as much of a collection addiction as it is like actual throwing big baits.
It's fun. I enjoy collecting this, but
yeah,
I'm
impressed.
That's all the questions I have for you. I'm not going to take any more of your time. So
no. So just so you know, so this guy,
Thank you.
I don't know what he's getting homeschooled in, but he is like, he drops so much knowledge about baits. We had him on last week, or Daniel Nussbaum from President of Z-Man was on, and he was talking about, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And afterwards, Daniel's like, that was actually a really good idea that we might want to consider doing. I don't know where he came up with that, but yeah, no,
there's a lot of thinking and tinkering around.
You're definitely a student of the game, my friend. Good for you.
For sure.
Good for you. What'd your mom make for
if
dinner
Daniel
tonight?
doesn't want to make it, I'll make it myself.
What'd your mom make for dinner?
My mom didn't make anything. We're actually in Oklahoma right now, so plans to fish with Alex Epperson. And tonight we had pizza, so it was just frozen pizza from the store. Nothing special.
Right on. Well, I hope you have a good time with Oklahoma's worst angler, and
yep,
Alex is a good dude.
Hopefully fishing.
Yeah, you're fishing.
Yep. I'm excited. So, all right. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
All
right. You guys have a good one.
Bye. All right. Yeah, that kid he's 16 years old, and he has a wealth. Like, every time he speaks,
no way.
I swear to God, every time he talks,
he's 16?
Yeah, he's 16. He's 16. He's designing baits. He designed baits. We're selling them in the soft plastics. He's designing swim baits. Like, he was literally, I wish I had asked him to explain what he suggested to Daniel about making the baits, but he was like, oh, you could inject this into it and then do that. And like, literally afterwards, Daniel's like, that was really like a good idea that we've never thought of. Like, he's a student of the game. He's a smart kid. He's a smart kid and one of the nicest people. He will call me and ask me if I need any help all the time. Yeah, he's a sharp kid. He's gonna go places. Oh, he turns 18 in December. Oh, you know what we're gonna do? Are you sure? He left? Nah, he's calling back in. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna have him on for his birthday in December.
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
Okay. I don't know if I got kicked off. My computer literally just reloaded it. It said this web page was reloaded because it's using significant memory.
Yeah, I apologize. We don't have a big budget here. And so Jared, I'm doing the best I can. I found Jared on the street one day and said, hey, you want to run a podcast? And he said, okay. And
yeah, we're back on.
I'm just kidding.
That kid was impressive.
Yeah.
The amount of swim bait knowledge that he had for being 16, I would have thought he was like at least a 35 or 45-year-old dude.
Yeah.
For sure. Because he was talking about stuff that's like not even really made anymore.
He's a student of the game, that kid. So there you go. All right. Well, listen, we had a really good time. I appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you're a busy guy. You probably get asked to do a ton of shows, but grateful that you could be a part of it. Grateful that you said yes to taking questions, because I think that's what kind of makes this show a little bit unique, in that we take live calls and we give people the opportunity to chat with their favorite anglers on the planet. So,
I think it's awesome. Appreciate you guys having me on. Glad a bunch of the folks at Monster Bass get to mess around with some of the new X-Zone products that we put out. So I appreciate that, and hopefully you'll get some of the new 2023 stuff before too long.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we will. And hopefully next year at this time we're doing it again, and you're the trophy says you're the best angler on the planet again. So I wish you the best of luck in the upcoming season. I know repeating is difficult, but I'm sure you'll do everything that it takes to be consistent and have one heck of a year. So
we will find out shortly.
Yeah, we
appreciate you guys.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Yep. See ya.
All right. Take care. Woof. Trophy says he's the best angler on the planet. I don't need the trophy to know that. He's a pretty consistent dude. that, yeah. There you go. So I'm calling out 3 more. Ricky's got to get to dinner. 22616, 21995, 21374. Thanks. Oh, one more thing. I want to show those shoes. I want to show those shoes, you guys. So T-Rex had some shoes made, and they are guaranteed to help you win tournaments. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm going to make them and sell them. I'm just telling you that you buy these shoes and you're guaranteed to win tournaments. So let's show those off and let's see what T-Rex made. Oh, look at those. Those look like my Nike runners right there. He had custom sneakers made that not only help you run faster, but they help you catch more fish because they say fishing with T-Rex and Monster Bass on the side. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'd like a pair of those things. I mean, all right, puppy. Okay, yeah, my dog's got to go to the bathroom. Did you kick my dog? All right. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. Hey, enough. Stop it. Yeah. So look at these sneakers. They're dope. And so anyways, all right, we got to go. My dog's got to go to the bathroom. I got to get to dinner. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Our guests next week are the boys from Burley Fishing. It's going to be a great show for you. We're going to have lots of laughs. Tune in next week. Thanks for your support. Love you guys. See you later. All right, Brower.
Sweep the leg. Oh, yes.